Hi guys, it's Dakota. Thank you for tuning in. Today is Tuesday, in case you haven't noticed. I normally do my videos on Monday. I did forget last week when I said I'll see you on Monday that I actually had to go out of state yesterday for business. And by the time I left early in the morning, and by the time I got home, I was too exhausted to do any video. So we're doing it on Tuesdays, and like I've said, it'll always be on a Monday or a Tuesday. Today, I would like to talk about something that is a very common occurrence in my store, and that is we get a lot of customers who are either new to the path, they're drawn to the path. When I say path, witchcraft, whatever you want to call it, they're drawn to it, or some have maybe seen some TV shows or movies about witchcraft, etc., and some are just at wit's end, and they're having personal issues, things going on in their life that they're looking for some sort of resolve to, and so they come in and they want to know, do we have any good spell books? Well, my answer would be yes, we have some good spell books. The best spell book, however, would be your own spell book. But how do you create a spell book if you're new and you don't know anything? Well, if you don't know anything, my advice would be first to learn something. You need to learn a little bit first about the spell. There's a lot of stuff that goes into spell work or magic, whatever you want to call it, the work. There's a lot of work that goes into it, a lot of things that are involved. So if you think of it like building a house, a house has to have a foundation. There's a foundation. Even if you're putting up a tent, okay, you still have to have some form of a foundation. So in a tent, it might be just the 4 poles and 2 that come across the top. I don't know. A house, it has to have a foundation, walls, roof. It has to have a structure. There's a reason. And if you've ever looked at a tent or looked at a house, the bones of it, then you understand how the house or the tent becomes the structure, becomes what you've created. And within that house or within that tent holds your energy, holds your home, holds everything within there. So that is your structure, that is your foundation. And it is the same in witchcraft. It is the same in magic. I'm speaking from me and my beliefs. So if this isn't something that resonates with you and is not part of your belief or structure, I respect that. And so this is just how I learned and was trained, and it makes sense to me, and I'd like to share it. So it is something that I teach in my class too, my Witchcraft 101 class. We teach you about the foundation and the structure of not only of witchcraft, but spell work, etc. Now in my class, I don't teach you how to do a spell. Like, I don't say, okay, this is a love spell and this is how we do it. This is a money spell and this is how we do it. But what you learn is, you learn the foundation of it. You learn all the correspondences. We learn about, and all of this is important in spell work. Not only the correspondences, and what I mean by that is colors, herbs, oils, the different types of magic. There's all different types of magic. Simple magic, really super involved magic. It could just go on and on and on. The list could go on and on. So when someone comes in and says, do you have a book on spells? I mean, I do, and I try my best to only carry books that are by what I would consider a more reputable witch, because here's the problem with books. You know, there's a lot of people that take college courses on, they want to be a writer. They don't necessarily have a subject, or some do, but some don't. And some people, hey, this is a lot of books selling witchcraft. I'm going to do some books on witchcraft, and they study other people's witchcraft, and then the next thing you know, they're writing a book on witchcraft. Are they a witch? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they are and maybe they aren't. My issue with that is, even if they are, even if they're like, you know, the grand poobah of all witches, doing a spell, you know, if you jumped into their book of shadows, into their boss, and you're like, oh man, look at this great money spell, I'm going to use that. There is no guarantee that that spell is going to work for you, because that is somebody else's spell. Somebody else wrote that. Somebody else did the research. Somebody else did the work. You don't know how, even if they had it written down word for word, it's still their energy, and their energy is not your energy. And when did they do that? What day of the week? Unless that's written in there. And if they kept really good records, that would probably be written in there. But what day of the week? What year? See, so they could write the year that they did the spell. But it was a fantastic spell, it worked. But if it was a different year, and you're trying to do that word for word, and if it's a different year, then that's a different energy. So there's just a lot that goes into spell work. But I lead them over to the books. Part of me feels somewhat unethical about doing that, especially for those that really don't know anything. But I try to educate them the best I can. Some they don't want me. They don't want to hear what I have to say. They're doing, you know, they're looking for spells for this, and that's that. And there's nothing really I can do for that. So I just sort of, you know, have to sell them the book and send them off with the best, you know, best intentions for them, that they get what they came searching for. Here's my problem. And this is what I want to share with you. So regarding spell work, because I'm not going to reach into my book of shadows and pull out a spell to give to you. That's not what I'm here for. Because what works for me may not work for you. And not to say that I don't go to those spell books at times, because there are some times when, I don't know, let's just say I'm doing a money spell. And, you know, I never do the same spell more than once, ever. I don't think I ever have in my life. Have I ever done the same spell more than once, even if it worked for me? Because that was a different day, or a different time, or a different month, or a different year, or anything. So I might need, I don't know, something to kind of boost. And let me see what other people have for their money spells. I'm not going to copy their spell, but I might go, oh, I like that idea. That's a good idea. And then I will create it. I will do that. You know, I will create that within my own spell. I like that. That was really a cool idea. I never thought about doing that. I'm going to try that. I'm going to tweak it just a little bit so that it fits me and it fits what I'm doing. And so, but a lot of times when I'm trying to explain that to people, they don't want to hear that. You know, a lot of people think that magic is, they're looking for the easy fix, and there really is no easy fix. There really isn't. You have to work at magic. Witchcraft is the hardest job I've ever had. It really is. It's the hardest job I've ever had. When you're trying to do the magic, I mean, it takes a lot of work and a lot of planning. At least for me, and how I work, how I magic. It's a lot of work because I plan it out. I make sure that I have all the ingredients. I make sure that the moon is in the right phase. I make sure that that I'm in the right mindset, that I've written it down, that if I'm going to actually say something, if I actually have an intention, I'm going to make sure that my words are right. And this is why. All right, so here's my little spiel on spell work and what can happen. Let's just say that it's a money spell. You come in, you know absolutely nothing. All you know is that you need money. And I will ask you, like, do you know how much money you need? No, I just need some money coming in. I'm not making enough money. And I will try to go over without getting personal. I mean, these are people I don't know. And, you know, they're not coming in. I'm not their counselor, you know, so I just try to do the best I can. And so, you know, I try to get some information from them first. But a lot of times they're not interested in doing the work. They just want something that's going to bring them some money. And they happen to like candles. Okay, great. If I give them a green candle and I go, here's a green candle, the majority of people that I know that do candle magic are going to use a green candle for prosperity or for money, to draw money in. Again, there's 101 different things you can do to that candle that would probably serve your best intention, but they don't want to hear all that. So what I try to help them with is to understand, all right, make sure that you understand the end result of what you are about to do. Because if you are trying to obtain money and you don't have like an end result, here's what could happen. You light your green candle and you say, okay, this is going to work. I'm sending this out to the universe. I need some money. And maybe tomorrow, maybe in a week, maybe in a couple of months, somebody knocks on your door. Oh, we have some really sad news for you. One of your loved ones has passed on. Deepest regrets. Very sorry. The good news is you now got the inheritance. Fantastic! The spell worked. You got money. You got the money. This is great. And you're like, no, that isn't what I meant. That isn't what I meant. Well, you weren't specific. You weren't specific. You asked for money, and the universe decided to give you money. I'm sorry that a loved one has passed on, but you are now the proud owner of the inheritance and the money. Well, that isn't how we want things. I would hope. I would hope that isn't how you would want to have acquired the money. So we always want to look at the end result, and we want to make sure that we are extremely specific in our magic. So as simple as it sounds to light a green candle and ask for money, there are ways that you could, I suppose, do that without doing all the deeper involved things that really should be looked at and researched and studied before you start practicing magic. Little disclaimer there. But if, I can't control that. How much money do you need? Well, I can't pay my rent this month. I need another $100. Great. That's specific. I need $100. Why? Because I don't have enough money to pay my rent, and I need $100 more to pay my rent. Okay, now you've been specific. You need $100, and the reason is to pay your rent that month, for that month. Now, here comes the hard part. What are you willing to do? Just light the candle? $100 isn't going to come knocking on your door. Knock, 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 and you open the door and there's a $100 bill sitting there. I mean, it might. Hey, maybe, maybe. The point is, what can you do to help assist your magic? Can you mow somebody's lawn? Can you babysit? Can you work some extra hours? Can somebody needs a day off? Can you fill in and earn a little bit of extra money? What can you do to help assist? The universe likes that. The universe likes to know that you, or your higher source, or whatever you want to call it, likes to know that you are willing to put in some effort, that you're not just looking for a handout. Because the handout could be tragic news, and that isn't what you meant. So in your intention also, it's a good idea to say, that it served my highest good, or that it be for my highest good, that it serve my highest intentions. I only have the best intentions. May it harm none. However you want to word that part of it. But you want to make sure that you look for that end result. Who is that going to affect when you just ask for money? The end result may not be what you were hoping for. So there we go. It's building that foundation. How much money do you need? Boom, I laid the floor. What is it for? Rent. I build the walls. What are you willing to do? Cover some extra shifts. There goes the roof. Those are the types of things that I'm talking about. There's, this easy magic, this quick fix. In my personal opinion, there can be some really tragic and some severe consequences to that. So just, be careful. The other thing is this. A lot of people think, well, I don't have money because I don't have a job. Okay, well, what are you doing to get a job? Well, I went online and I did some applications online. Okay, well, did you follow up on that? Well, I do it on Mondays. Well, what do you do the rest of the week? I mean, do you go out and actually look for a job where people can see you face to face? Because I'm here to tell you, if you're looking for a job at my store and you send me an email, and no offense to those who have. I understand today's world is different than it used to be. The world that I grew up with, you had to go out. We didn't have the computers. You had to go out and you had to walk in, ask for the manager, and introduce yourself, and are you hiring? And that's how it worked. I'm old school. If you send me an email or or something like that, are you hiring? I might be, but how about you make the effort and come in and find out? Well, that would be a waste of time if you're not. Perhaps it would, but perhaps it wouldn't if I was. Because if you walk in and you and I click, and there's something about you that I'm like, you are exactly what we're looking for, you might have a job. But if you email me, no. If you can't make the effort, it's not going to happen. So there are people that say, well, I lit the green candle and I went online and I filled out a couple of online things. Well, what did you do the rest of the day? What did you do the rest of the week? I just waited for somebody, waited to get an interview. I mean, it may happen. That may happen. It may. But your chances are more likely if you follow up on it. I have never filled out an application anywhere for any job in my entire life and ever had the manager or the CEO of the company come knocking on my door and going, hey, I think you filled out an application for this job and we would love to hire you. It's never happened. You have to make the effort. And so it's the same thing with magic. If you're looking for a job and you want to use a candle magic, which, by the way, is probably my go-to magic. I know it seems simple for the adept witches out there, and isn't that cute, she uses candle magic. You have no idea what I do with my candle magic. So, okay, so you have no idea. But what I'm saying is, if you don't just light a candle and go, okay, well, I've done my job, and then wait for it to happen. There's follow-up. that you have to do. There's correspondences. There's a lot of things that are involved in showing the universe that you are serious about your work. Magic is not a quick fix. It is an assistant to our efforts. And so that's what I have to say. That is how I do my spell work. My spell work is planned out. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. It takes maintenance in some cases. I don't just light a candle and go, okay, well, that's it. It's all done now. I maintain my magic, and so there's a lot of work involved. So think about that the next time that you're going to do magic. It's the same thing for any magic. Money, love, those are the money, love, getting someone back in our life, breakups, romance. Those are really like the main things, the banishing, protection, and all of that. I mean, I can't just give you a black candle and go, okay, light this, and all the negativity is going to go away. You got to work at it. You have to work at it. And then you have to know why. You have to know why, because at the root, there's a root to that. And there's a root at the bottom of that. And I also know that people don't like to look at that root because it's always about the other things, the other obstacles that are out there. And I love working through and removing obstacles so that I can move forward in my magic. And that takes some work and it takes some effort, and I'm willing to do that, and I've had great success with doing that. All right, so that's today's little Tuesday video, and I'm going to cross my fingers and say I hope to see you next Monday. Please subscribe. I have something I want to say in my next video because I got to find out how to do it. But I've got a lot of new subscribers. I'm so excited for that. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And share and ask me questions. I want to, I'll see you next week. Bye.